So I have a question for you. Actually, three questions. Would you rather have a little bit or great treasure? Would you rather have a small portion of vegetables or herbs, or a big juicy steak, or a burger, even if it's a vegetarian burger? Would you rather have a dry morsel or a feast? You know, those are questions, not really questions, but those are two contrasts that the book of Proverbs poses to us. And I think most of us, from a purely subjective standpoint, would say, well, I'd rather have great treasure. I'd rather have something more substantial than a little portion of something. I'd rather a feast than a dry morsel. But what the writer to the Proverbs tells us is that it all depends on what comes with those things. So in Proverbs 15, verses 16 and 17, it says, "Better is a little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and turmoil with it. Better is a dish of vegetables or herbs where love is than a fattened ox served with hatred." And then in chapter 17, verse 1, "Better is a dry morsel and quietness with it than a house full of feasting with strife." And the point of the author is that there is more to consider than just material things. Yes, we might rather have great treasure than a little bit, but probably not if that treasure comes with violence or strife. Yes, we'd rather have a big juicy steak or a tasty burger or a nice piece of salmon than a little bit of herbs and vegetables, but not if that thing is served with hatred. Yes, we'd probably rather have a house full of feasting than a dry morsel, but not if in that house there is arguing and strife. And so the point that the writer is making is that we need to consider more than just those tangible material things when we are thinking about value. What God values is peace. What God values is love. What God values is an atmosphere of calm and acceptance in our homes and in our workplaces. And I think if we really thought about it deep down, yes, I'd rather have those things as well, because a big juicy steak served by somebody who hates me probably going to wind up giving me an ulcer or at least some acid reflux in the midst of that stress. God has some ways that He has established for us to live in peace, for us to live successfully. And it is by exhibiting the fruit of the Spirit in our lives as we interact with the people around us. And our goal, should be, rather than to have a lot, it's to be content with what we have with peace. In Paul wrote that godliness with contentment is great gain, better than riches, godliness with contentment. And so today I would encourage you to think about what the atmosphere is like in your home, what the atmosphere is like in your workplace. Is it one where we just strive for more and better and to outdo one another? Or is it one where we strive to have peace and show love and demonstrate caring for one another, so that our homes, our workplaces, in fact, we ourselves can be a place of refuge for people, just like God is a refuge for us?